January 8th, 2022, 11:42 p.m., Tampa International Airport, Florida. A cold front swept across the Gulf Coast as wind tore across the tarmac in sharp, icy bursts. The runway lights glowed against low, fast-moving clouds, and a matte black, unmarked Boeing business jet sat quietly on the private aviation apron. Its engines were silent, but inside the jet sat something worth more than the aircraft itself: $12 million in Cartel cash. And in just 9 minutes, a 39-year-old electrician named Marcus Hale would steal every dollar of it and disappear from the United States forever. Marcus Hale had been invisible long before he learned to weaponize that invisibility. At 39, born in Sarasota, raised by a single mother who cleaned offices day and night, Marcus lived quietly, moving through life unnoticed. His father, a Navy electrician, died when Marcus was 8, but left him with one piece of wisdom: electricity doesn't forgive mistakes. Marcus carried that lesson through his entire life. For years, he bounced between small electrical jobs, wiring buildings, fixing AC units, repairing breaker boxes in rundown apartment complexes. Nothing glamorous, nothing stable. When the pandemic hit in 2020, construction work dried up completely. Marcus spent 6 months living in his car behind an abandoned strip mall in Bradenton. But in early 2021, he finally caught a break: a full-time maintenance electrician job at Tampa International Airport. Overnight shift, $21.75 an hour. Benefits after 90 days. For Marcus, it felt like salvation. Though ironically, that same job would be the reason he vanished. His financial reality bordered on hopeless. His mother Linda was dying from stage 4 kidney failure, and her medications cost $1,300 a month, far beyond anything Marcus could afford. Medicaid covered the basics, but not the specialized injections that slowed her decline. Marcus was drowning in debt: $17,000 in medical bills, $12,400 in back taxes, $8,200 in credit card debt, and nearly $5,000 owed to a predatory auto loan. His aging 2004 Ford Ranger was one missed payment away from repossession. Every paycheck disappeared the moment it arrived. He wasn't lazy. He wasn't greedy. He was cornered by life. But the spark that lit the fuse came from something unexpected. A conversation he overheard while tightening a loose conduit panel inside the Signature Flight Support private terminal. 2 men speaking Spanish near an unmarked private jet. Marcus understood just enough to pick up the words dinero, entrega, pesado, money, delivery, heavy. He looked up and saw them unloading duffel bags from the aircraft. They weren't passengers. They weren't pilots. They were couriers, and the bags sagged like they were filled with bricks. Later that night, curiosity overcame him, and Marcus checked the aircraft's tail number. The jet was registered to a Mexican charter company linked through several shell businesses to a cartel operating out of Sinaloa. That discovery stayed with him. Every night he walked past the world of millionaires, CEOs, celebrities, and criminals. And no one ever really saw him. He realized his invisibility was power. Over the next 3 months, Marcus noticed a pattern. The cartel jet always arrived every 2 weeks, always late at night, always on Thursdays, always with the same silent couriers. Marcus wasn't a criminal, not then, but he began doing math. Each courier carried 2 duffel bags, and one night Marcus saw inside a bag when a zipper slipped. Stacks of $100 bills, neatly bundled, heavy enough to feel like weight rather than money. His electrician brain calculated, Each bag held roughly $1.5 million. 8 bags meant $12 million every 2 weeks. And Marcus thought, 1 bag could save my mother, 2 bags could save my life. But what if I took all of it? What scared him wasn't the thought of stealing, it was how easy it looked. He spent 2 months preparing, not with weapons or accomplices, but with observation, watching, studying, memorizing. His entire plan rested on one truth: everyone ignores the electrician. Staff avoided eye contact, security waved him through, cameras focused on passengers, never workers. Marcus had access to jet bridge power cabinets, emergency lighting systems, tarmac conduit lines, external ground power hookups, private hangar switches, and maintenance tunnels that police or TSA rarely inspected. He also learned the courier's habits: fast unloading, waiting 20 minutes for a pickup van, never locking the jet's cargo bay, and never suspecting an airport worker. Marcus didn't need violence. He needed 4 minutes. February 24th, 2022, 11:03 p.m. The final Cartel flight arrived. Marcus showed up 12 minutes early as cold winds sliced across the tarmac. The black jet descended through fog and rolled to the private apron. Inside it sat 8 bags and $12 million. Marcus's plan hinged on something he discovered weeks earlier: a 46-second blackout flaw. Inside the private hangar was a massive power distribution box. If he manually tripped the grounding relay, a routine maintenance test, the hangar and all exterior security cameras would go dark for exactly 46 seconds. Short enough not to trigger alerts, long enough to steal everything. He tested it twice. No one noticed. At 11:18 p.m., the jet parked in Bay 3. The couriers unloaded the bags and waited inside the hangar. The pickup van usually arrived between 11:26 and 11:29. Marcus had a 5-minute window. At 11:23 p.m., he knelt beside the distribution box, took a deep breath, and pulled the grounding relay. The tarmac went black. Lights died. Cameras froze. Fog drifted like smoke around the silent jet. Marcus sprinted, though it looked like a technician rushing to fix a problem. He reached the cargo bay. It was unlocked. Inside, 8 heavy duffel bags sat waiting. He dragged them 2 at a time to the maintenance cart he'd positioned behind a generator crate. He'd trained for this, lifting sandbags for weeks. With seconds left, he shut the cargo compartment, ran back, and restored power. Lights returned, cameras rebooted. Inside the hangar, no one noticed anything. Marcus pushed the cart toward Utility Tunnel D, a low, humming corridor beneath the private apron. No cameras, no guards, only the buzz of electrical conduits. He reached the electrical room, opened his locker, and revealed a large rolling tool case he'd placed days earlier. The 8 bags barely fit, but he forced them inside, locked the case, and headed to the staff garage. 11:33 p.m., he loaded the case into a white Ford Transit Connect and covered it with cable spools. Then he simply clocked out at 11:41 p.m. like any other night. A guard waved, "Slow night, Marcus?" Marcus nodded. "Yeah, wind's killing the sensors again." No suspicion. He drove out of Tampa International Airport with $12 million, and no one noticed. At 11:52 p.m., the Cartel pickup van arrived. When the courier stepped out, the bags were gone. They panicked instantly. One rushed to the jet and opened the cargo bay. Empty. No signs of forced entry, no staff missing. The older courier whispered that the Americans wouldn't dare steal cartel money. That left one horrifying explanation. Someone inside the airport had robbed them. They demanded security footage. Everything looked normal. No blackout recorded. Just a 46-second timestamp jump the system didn't recognize. A glitch only someone skilled in electrical systems could exploit. At 1:17 a.m., 4 black SUVs arrived, Cartel investigators. They tore apart the hangar, interrogated the couriers, and found nothing. The only person who had been near the hangar during that time was the overnight electrician. At 6:40 a.m. the next morning, the airport's director of security, Kenneth Roth, reviewed everything. Marcus's log showed nothing suspicious until Roth noticed Marcus accessed the Bay 3 distribution box at 11:20 p.m. Maintenance wasn't scheduled until March. Roth called Marcus, no answer. Police visited his apartment. It was completely empty, clothes gone, dishes clean, bed stripped. The only item left was his airport ID badge placed neatly on the counter. By the afternoon, the FBI received an anonymous cartel-made tip telling them to check the electrician. Within hours, his plate was flagged, employment logs reviewed, and federal systems updated. But Marcus had planned ahead. 2 weeks earlier, he bought a used 2008 Honda Odyssey with cash, no paperwork. His airport van was found abandoned behind a Lowe's at midnight, clean and empty. Using toll data, investigators discovered a matching van crossed into the Florida Keys at 3:17 a.m. and never came back. Cartel investigators followed within 24 hours. They bribed hotel staff, pressured fishermen, questioned marina workers, but every trail died. Then a strange clue surfaced. A Key West marina clerk said a quiet man purchased a used 30-foot Catalina sailboat on February 25th, paid in cash, gave no name, and simply said, "I'm heading south." The boat, Sea Whisper, was never found. The marina camera for that dock went offline for exactly 42 seconds during the sale, the same kind of outage Marcus engineered at the airport. To this day, 3 theories attempt to explain what happened to him. Some believe he sailed to Belize, a country with no U.S. extradition treaty, remote coastal towns, and banks that don't ask questions. If he made it, he could live comfortably for decades. Others believe the cartel hunted him down somewhere in the Caribbean. No body was ever found, but the cartel rarely leaves evidence. The third theory says he sank. February storms were brutal that year, and a small sailboat overloaded with weight could easily capsize under an inexperienced sailor. If Marcus went down, the $12 million is still on the ocean floor, sealed in 8 black bags. But the most chilling twist came in April 2022, 2 months after his disappearance. The hospital treating Marcus's mother received an anonymous cash donation, $84,000, exactly enough to cover a year of her treatments. Delivered in an envelope by a young woman, Marcus had no sister, but he did have a childhood friend, a nurse named Emily, who vanished from social media around the same time Marcus disappeared. The bills were unmarked, untraceable, the donation unclaimed, just like Marcus. In the end, Marcus Hale wasn't a criminal mastermind. He was an electrician, a son, a man pushed beyond survival until desperation opened a door, and he walked through. He used his access, his knowledge, his invisibility, and a 46-second flaw in airport infrastructure to steal $12 million from one of the deadliest cartels in the Western Hemisphere, then vanished without leaving behind a body, a boat, a digital trail, or even a clue, except a donation that kept his mother alive. Today, the FBI lists him as missing person of interest, status unknown. The cartel calls him a ghost, and the world knows him as the man who walked into a Florida night with $12 million and walked out of history forever.